I got a story for you. Hey guys, what's up? Akasan here. I'm gonna get the story out of the way because I promised that I was gonna do it for you guys. And damn, this camera angle looks really good right now. Why? Like the camera looks really sharp for some reason. Nice lighting, but I bet you if I turn it right here, yep, it looks like shit. Look at that. Weird. Actually, sorry. Anyways, but I got distracted like always. And the Daredevil trailer came out right now. So look at this funny grin. Look at, man, I look pretty funny. Yeah. But I like that. I look all proud of myself. I can do it. Anyways, so I wanted to do this. It's like 12:24, but I promised that I would do it on the weekly Wednesday What's Up, the story, because if I don't do it now, I'm probably never gonna do it while the filling's over. So, anyways, this is a story about teaching, okay? This one's a story about teaching. Now, as I've mentioned before, part-time and such, I do some English teaching, and I sometimes go to elementary schools, okay? So, and I enjoy it. Actually, I enjoy it a lot, doing ALT stuff. Some people really hate it, but I like it because it's just it's a different environment and you're broadcasting to 30-something kids and everything. So, it's been very good for me. And, you know, sometimes it's kind of weird because, so when you go to teacher school, generally speaking, certain contracts, you're usually doing 5th grade, or 6th grade, or both. And then occasionally you do like 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and sometimes 1st grade. But this particular case, this particular contract I have, I'm going every week and I teach 5th grade and 6th grade, okay? So this particular situation, now there's 3 6th grade classes and 3 5th grade classes, okay? And I've been at this school. I've been working with the school for about 2 years now. In this particular school, the 6th graders, it's been basically the same class. Kind of, they've changed it a little bit, but they were 5th graders in the past. Okay, so then they became 6th graders this year, and will be moving on to junior high next in about a month or so. All right, so you're with me so far. So, this happens to a lot of teachers that are ALT teachers. I've noticed a lot is that something about 6th grade, the adolescence really kicks up. 5th grade is actually like really the first exposure that kids have to a foreign teacher, for the most part, someone who comes to their school, someone they see once a week. That's actually when the actual required English classes begin, once a week type of thing, and a foreign teacher comes in. So 5th grade, they're always just like, wow, who is this guy? Oh, he's so cool. Wow, America, blah, 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 right? Or wherever you're from, right? So 5th grade is usually a piece of cake because everything wows them and they're just like, whoa, whatever. But then the encore, the next year, is a little different, especially I think because for me, they're used to me, though all the fascination it's still there, but they're kind of used to me already, and so they're kind of relaxed or whatever. And something about, because it's 6th grade and it's like the last year, the last semester before things get super serious in Japanese schools, middle school, things like that. They just start studying all the time. By the way, I apologize that I'm doing this with the Reactor Studio in the background, but I'm busy, okay? I just want to get this story out. You don't really need to see anything. Yeah, see? There's nothing back here, just a wall. Alright, so, alright. This is actually not bad. I might change this Reactor Studio like that. I could be like Ryan Wright, right? And just have the laptop right here. Anyways, sorry. It's actually not a bad idea. All right, so back to the story. Okay, so so these kids are going through adolescence and they're being challenged and everything. And and for whatever reason, Every school that I've talked to with my fellow like ALT type teachers and such, every school you have you have three classes, right? You have three different classes, same grade. So basically, we'll just call it 6-1, 6-2, 6-3, or like that. Okay. So you have three different classes, or 6-1, 6-2, 6-3. So you have three different classes, but always, for whatever reason, every school, there's always a problem with at least one sixth grade class. It's so weird. Like, there's always a big problem. There was a problem last year. They were out of control, and like one kid was like mentally retarded or something, and he was like he was sharpening a shank. I swear to God, he had a jagged piece of metal, and he was sharpening it right in front of me, just like, and it like he was like mentally something was wrong with him, or he was just like shaking, like it was so weird, and I always thought that one day I'm gonna get stabbed just teaching. Anyways, so this school, but this school is actually fairly smart, very prestigious, actually. Anyways, so as I'm rolling into 6 minutes here, let's start this story. This particular school, this particular class today, they've been getting worse and worse every month. Okay, just every month, every week, they're just been getting worse and worse. And if you have ever seen Maji Sukagakuen, I've never talked about this. I've talked about this show maybe a few times. Or Crows or whatever. If you've seen that, very Yankee style. Okay, so like last week, I was kind of pissed off because I was having a game with them, and they were like, "Ha, ha, kananai, what kind of shit?" Like that, like what kind, like very like rude and disrespectful. But the homeroom teacher, the actual main teacher, just lost control of them a long time ago, because they were trying to be like, they were just trying to liven up the mood and get them to talk more, because they were really shy when they first started out, but just lost control. Anyway, so this class has kind of gotten out of control many times, and they've tried different approaches to doing it. But today was the big one, and admittedly, I think I was a little pissed off about something else regarding work as well, and that kind of escalated. But they were trying something new today. All the kids kind of came in, and it was just like nobody was getting quiet. They were supposed to sit down, respect, and boom, that's it. Okay, I do my greeting. That's the way it usually goes. So, but the homeroom teacher just asked me to don't say anything, just wait till they get it. So I sat there like a dumbass, just sitting there staring into space for 5 minutes until they finally got quiet. And then finally I did it. I started my intro, and my particular lesson, we were talking about Valentine's Day and such, and I do a lot of pacing back and forth, like I'm doing a stage performance or a comedy act, so to speak, pacing back and forth like that. Okay, so they weren't really feeling it or whatever, and they weren't really understanding. They were just kind of making fun of everything I was saying, because they were confused, but they didn't want to admit that they were confused or whatever it is. They're being rebellious. So then it got out of control again, everybody's just talking to each other too much, right? And it's frustrating to me, because the other classes, the other sixth graders, just like, wow, that's crazy. Like, some of them were just like quiet. They didn't understand, but at least they were focusing and paying attention to me. So then it got out of control, so I had to sit there again for 5 minutes, and the teacher, homeroom teacher, was like, Isaac's waiting for you guys. Like, teacher, Isaac sensei is waiting. You guys, come on, can we be quiet? Can we be quiet? It's very interesting the way in Japanese how they use this very soft approach. Some teachers use a very soft approach, while there's another homeroom teacher I know who straight Yankees, like, what are y'all, like, it's hard to do it in English. He was like, "Nani shite ne? Ara." Like, very, like, these, like, very gangster style, are just rough and tough style Japanese, which I like. And that that class is good. They're actually really smart too, but they're really focused. Anyways, so this was the second outburst, right? And I was just like, okay, whatever. But and I went back to doing it, and I was trying to explain something about how people propose during Valentine's Day, and how in Japan, girls give chocolate to boys, but in America, boys give chocolate to girls, or chocolate, flowers, candy, money, rings, all that stuff, necklaces. Um, and the impact wasn't there because obviously the focus wasn't there. And there's these two boys in the back today, and they had these little tiny rubber bands. They were shooting them at their friends, and I noticed it early on, but I was waiting for the homeroom teacher. As a responsibility of the ALT, the foreign teacher, you're not supposed to really be strict or kibishi, as we say, strict or like, try to control the class, because you're there kind of more or less for entertainment and provide the lesson entertainingly and things like that. So the homeroom teacher, that's their responsibility. But like, as I said, it's been out of control for a long time. And they're trying this soft approach method of keeping things under control. This was out of control. And it went on for like 5 minutes or so. And then finally, because the class was not focused, and these two kids were shooting rubber bands, and these rubber bands were coming to the front of the class, I finally lost it. And man, you should have seen, like, these kids know me as like the guy, good morning, class. Hi, what's going on? Okay, yes, I'm from America. I like McDonald's. I love Japan. Something like that, right? Yeah, and they see this face, right? Right? Oh my God, at that moment in time, this was the face that they saw. I parted the desk in the front like I was the Black Moses. I just pushed them both out the way. Everybody knew what was going down. I made a beeline for those kids. I went up there, and I was just like, I had my, I don't know if I had my fist arched at the time, but I was very hunched up, like it was fighting time, like for me, like the very commanding. And I was just like, I looked at that kid, I looked down at him, and he was smiling. He was like, oh, what? Like smiling. I looked at him, I was like, I stared him right in the eye, and I said, shoot one more rubber band, one more, and see what happens. Shoot that rubber band one more time and see what happens. This kid almost crapped his pants. And then the other kid was like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm like, and they tried to get rid of the rubber band. I snatched his arm. I was like, you see this? I'm talking about this here. That's it. Let's go. And I grabbed them. I grabbed both of them. Not forcibly, but just by the arm. I was like, come on, let's go. I was like, up. Everybody up now. I got my Batman voice out. I'm like, you're coming with me now. And they were like, well, what's going on? I took them out into the, man, this was America. If those were my kids, they would have got an ass whooping. I turned into the black dad there. I put them into the hallway. It was cold out here in Japan right now, okay? So they could feel it. This class is so out of control that these kids, like, even earlier when the class was out of control, one kid was like, I'm going to the toilet. And he just got up and he just walked away. Like, he was supposed to go with a teacher or something like that. And a teacher was trying to hold him. And he, like, shrugged it off and just walked out the class. And completely out of control. I was like, man, nah, you ain't doing that in my class, during my time. Because I gave him an option way earlier, even before I had the outburst, okay? I told him, I was like, look, you got two options. Look, you guys can sit here and not do anything, and you can sit here in the cold and not move and just freeze for 50 minutes or so. Or we can go ahead and do the activities that I planned, Valentine's Day stuff that I prepared for you guys, worksheets, word searches, all that. We can do that. It's your guys' choice. Either way, I still get paid. But obviously, that didn't translate the same way. When the homeroom teacher, she only caught half of what I was saying. All right, but anyways, I gave them that option early on. So, anyways, back to the outbursts. I snatched those two up. I put them into the hallway, and one of them tried to walk away like they usually do, run out the down the hallway, or like just leave the situation. I looked at him. I'm like, did I say you could move? Sit down. I was like, boy, you better sit. I got into my black dad. I was like, my black dad, black dads. I was like, except I just didn't say nigga. I was like, our motherfucker. I was just like, nah. I was like, boy, you better sit down right now. And he knew what I was saying. He didn't get everything of what I was saying, but he knew what I meant, 100%. Okay. So then I go and I come back into class. I grab those chairs that they were sitting. I pulled some chairs, put them in the hallway. I'm like, you sit here. Both of you sit down in the cold. You guys sit down right now. And you sit in the cold and you think about what you've done. And we're going to talk. When I come back, well, you and we're having a talk. And I walked away. I went back into the class. Homeroom teacher was following me because she didn't even understand the reason I threw them out was because of the rubber band. She thought because they were talking. I came back in and the class was dead silent. Dead silent. Whoo! Drop a pin in that bitch today. And I felt bad. I felt bad because now the kids were scared of me. They've never seen this face. They've never heard this voice. They've never seen that fear, but they've never felt fear from me before. They were scared. And I felt bad, but I couldn't let up. And I pointed out, I'm like, look at this rubber band, everybody. Look at this rubber band. Look at this, everybody. Look at this. And I put the rubber bands both in my hands, both hands. I'm holding my phone right now, but I put the small rubber bands in my hand. And I asked them, I'm like, look, do you guys think this is right? Is this right? You guys should be playing? Possible? I was like, you guys should be playing right now. And nobody said anything. Then I got in my Batman Heisenberg voice because actually inside I was getting a little upset too. I was like, like I wasn't gonna cry, but that kind of feeling where you're like kind of mad and not scared, but mad and nervous at the same time, mad and upset. You're just like, if you lose your nerve or whatever. So anyways, I got into my Batman Heisenberg voice because like, you guys think this is right? And they didn't say anything. I'm like, I'm asking you a simple question like that. What did I say? No, I'm asking a question, yes or no, like that. And then I got a translation from the homeroom teacher, and they got the point. I'm like, all right. So I was like, so I reiterate to you my choice. We can either sit here and do nothing and freeze, or we can do some activities. The choice is yours. Like that. And they picked the right choice, obviously. And then, that was good. And then after that, I was like, all right, okay, we're going to be good now. And then I was like, okay, let's continue. And I switched my voice back into my happy-go-lucky gaijin foreigner teacher voice. And I was like, okay, guys, so now Valentine's Day, let's continue it. I could tell they were still kind of shaken up. But anyways, I gave them the worksheets. I gave them everything. And while they were doing the busy work, I was like, okay, guys, good job. I'll be back. And I went back into the hallway. I was like, I grabbed a chair. And how you turn the chair where, the back end of the chair is facing your chest, right? I turned that chair. I put that chair right in front of them. The two troublemakers put that chair down. I sat down really. I was like, what boy. All right. These are little Japanese phrases and such you say when you're really trying to use that like thuggish Japanese, I guess. And I sat down. I looked these kids in the eye. I'm like, so you guys know why you're here? I was like, what's going on? And I've learned this actually from watching other teachers, other Japanese teachers at different elementary schools over the last a couple of years and such. Like, it's very interesting watching the male teachers how they do this and making these kids cry. And so I was just like, come on, man. And I explained to one of the kids, I was like, look, I've known you for almost 2 years. Like, I know you're actually pretty good at doing English. You're just making some bad choices right now. Um, because I was a bad kid. I was a very bad kid. Not the worst, but I wasn't very focused, and I would fuck around in fifth grade all the time, all the time. Teachers threw me out all the time, and I remember, I completely remember one of my teachers named Mr. Teeman, because he knew I was a good kid in the first year. He had me. He thought I was, or the first part of the year I was pretty good, but then just, I got caught up. I got caught up in that life or whatever, peer pressure or whatever, and I started fucking around, and like he used to throw me out of class all the time, and he'd just be like, "What's going on with you?" And like, I was like, what happened with you? So I'll never forget that one time, because he was right. He was right. Like, but I couldn't really explain to him as a child at that time. I couldn't really explain to him why that was happening and why I was being bad or whatever, because maybe part of me I didn't even know or whatever. I don't know. Anyways, my main point here is like, so I talked to them, I emphasized with them, and I was just like, yeah, um, I was just like, so what do you got to say? I was like, not to you. Like, not to you. What do you say in Japanese? And he was the one kid was like, I'm sorry. And the other one, I was like, all right, you guys gonna get back in there. We gotta change. You guys be molto chanto, like mo chanto, like, which means like focus, more straight, be good, chanto, chanto, like I don't know, like or whatever, chanto, more serious, I guess, or focus, maybe focused, chanto, chanto suate, like sit up straight. That is chanto suate, things like that. It's hard to translate. Anyways, both of them apologized. It looked like they were gonna shit their pants, cry. They were about to cry and everything. So I knew I pushed it enough. They walked back in and they sat down, and I gave them some worksheets, and they said thank you and all that. Um, and no, that was it basically. The teacher, the homeroom teacher, looked so happy because she looked like she hasn't had that peace and quiet in a long time with that classroom. And she was because they, even the other teacher that they've sent in to help balance things out, is like a gym teacher, kind of like a gym teacher looking, kind of older gentleman. And like, I thought he was going to be the dude to really set them straight like that and kind of scare them straight, so to speak, but nah. So they haven't had that change that they were looking for or whatever. But anyways, that came from me today. They brought out the old demon in me that hasn't appeared in a long time. And I feel bad because some of those kids don't deserve to see that side of me, but a lot of those other kids, they need it sometimes. They need it. But anyways, guys, yeah, at the end, everybody seemed all right for the most part. But we'll see what happens next week. But that was basically my story of had to go all dangerous minds on them or whatever. Like, very interesting, very, very, very. So when I left the school that day, I usually do my aisatsu, which is aisatsu is like parting, being not. Greetings, basically your greetings, very formal Japanese greetings. I'm like, hi, you say something like, otsukaresama desu, like, job well done, otsukaresama desu. I was like, otsukaresama desu, ja, mata raishu, like, see you next week or something like that. And like the moment I walked in, the vice principal, she just looked at me, like, she felt so bad, and she was "Sumimasen, hontou okotteru." Like, you were really upset today, I heard, because I guess word spread real fast that I blew up at the class. And so they apologized, then I apologized for whatever. In Japanese world, you apologize for things you don't even know why you're apologizing. So, like, I apologize. Asuka one time mentioned that in Evangelion. which I thought, well, why are Japanese people always apologizing? But anyways, this is part of the Aisatsu Japanese business. If you guys ever want to live here for a long time, this is the part of it. You're just always apologizing. I was like, oh, simasen, no, it's my fault. And I was like, I don't even know why it was my fault, but like, I was like, oh, simasen, no, simasen, everybody, simasen, I'm gonna say, mamakusa. Um, and anyways, so that, and then I told the owner of my company who has the contract and everything, and whatever. It's all done now. So we'll see what happens next week. But it was a pretty interesting story. This is why I couldn't do it for the weekly Wednesday What's Up, because now we're at 25 minutes right now. I hope you enjoyed my story. That's a little English sort of thing. Share, subscribe, whatever, guys. I hope it helps you in the future, and let me know what you think below. If that's what do you guys think? Would it, do you think you can do that in America? That's sometimes what I wonder. Sometimes a lot if teachers can do that sort of stuff. Like, I don't know. I think American teachers are more strict though, because people would not mess around like that. Like, if you do, man, I don't know. But then you got to worry about the parents and things like that. Like, we have those issues sometimes out here in Japan where parents, they get involved. They're like, how dare you do that? But it's very rare because, especially with me or whatever, like, yeah, maybe they don't trust a dirty gaijin or something like that, or like the untrusty, shifty foreigner. But it's like, generally, some parents will know. Parents will know with their kids, from what I have seen so far. But we've had, there are cases that I haven't been around, but I've heard stories where, there's a man in the woods type issue where kids just make up stuff, whatever. Anyways, guys, I hope that you enjoyed my story. Let me know what you think. All right? Till next time. Peace! Don't make me show you my mean face again. Grr.